What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Life of Champ podcast, episode number 37. Today's topic is going to be just surrounding dating. The things specifically around surrounding dating. I'm going to be talking about kind of my view on it, also where I see a potential disconnect. And it's going to be similar to the podcast that I made about the current state of dating, but it's going to be on slightly different topics surrounding dating. So that is the topic for today. And then I'm also going to be talking about a few other things. Before I go ahead and get it started, I want one disclaimer. I just want to mention why I wasn't live last week, and the reason for that was just simply because I did not feel good. I was actually feeling terrible, terrible when it comes to my physical health. Um, at that point, I went to the gym 6 days out of 7 days, and my body was just weak. And then I kind of got a little sick, which wasn't fantastic at all. And I just couldn't do the podcast honestly. So I was just recovering, physically getting more rest, and so that is why I did not go live. But that is the reason. Yeah. So, but other than that, another thing I want to mention is I'm going to be having some new shirts come out. If you do want a shirt, go ahead and let me know. I have a few different ideas. So if you're interested in the ideas, make sure you go ahead and send me a text, and I'll go ahead and kind of show you my vision of exactly what I'm looking for in a shirt, and you can tell me if you would be willing to buy it or not willing to buy it, right? But other than that, I want to go ahead and start with the disconnect, right? The disconnect within dating right now, in my opinion, I think is that women don't know what men want, and pretty much. Men don't know what women want, and women don't know what men want. I feel like men definitely have a better idea of specifically what women want, or at the very least have a lot more resources to go ahead and get a well developed opinion on specifically what women want. There's plenty of male people on in the internet that talk about specifically how to get a woman, what they like, what they don't like, how to be a certain way, and you'll be better off within the dating space. But I also see the disconnect where when it comes to what women think men want, I feel like there's a huge disconnect. And I feel like what society's portraying that men want versus what men actually want, it's two completely different things. What's good, KJ? Appreciate you for stopping by, my dog. But it's pretty much two different things. It's two different things, and it's honestly, in my opinion, super unhealthy when you have, let's just say, society telling women, "Hey, men want a strong, independent woman who doesn't need a man, and this and this and this." And when you started off with that, right? Just even putting the energy out of "I don't need a man" is honestly, men are not attracted to that. Most men are not attracted to any woman that has or verbally says "I don't need a man." Why the fuck would we even be? Why would we even entertain you if you don't think that you need a man? In my opinion, it's a little bit more of a cop out. I understand the individuality aspect, which, like I said, if you're gonna go ahead and provide for yourself. Do whatever you gotta do. Just don't verbalize it. Don't throw it in my face. Like, okay, cool, you're independent. Like, no, like, awesome. Like, I don't know what you want. But it's not. Individuality isn't exactly an attractive quality to men. It's not. Of course, at least verbally. You shouldn't have to verbalize it, by the way. Men don't verbalize, "Oh, I don't need a woman, and I can take care of myself." Like, they don't have nothing to prove. And I feel like women have something to prove. And I just don't think it's like I said, it's male repellent, honestly, dude. Men don't want somebody that's like over about not needing the other gender. It's ridiculous. And then when you look at it in the grand scheme of things, do most women want a man? I would say yes. Most women do want men, and even women, which I want to mention this, which is something I mentioned in the other podcast, right? We kind of touched on it about a few other podcasts. So with the women that are differing from this, "Oh, I don't need a man," this, "Oh, I'm a strong, independent woman." When you see that in society, you also see that when a woman differs from that, she also is attacked by those women because they perceive being any other way as weak, which is terrible, terribly unhealthy. I met a few women in my time who wanted who wanted certain things for their life that was different than the way society, the idealistic woman in society, the one that society just kind of comes up out of nowhere, right? I don't know who's exactly leading the narrative, but um, they try to yeah they basically try to put this idea of what the ideal woman is, and like I said, those women who differ from that ideal, they're like, man, like I do not want to express myself, and I feel like if I do, I'm gonna get put down, and that's not healthy because for the most part, men are more likely inclined to want to go for that type of woman that isn't overtly putting it in your face that they're independent and they don't need a man. Then like I said, any other woman, in my opinion, right? Um, through observing the men in my life as well as observing the men that I see on the internet, they're not particularly interested in women like that at all. Um, it's what they would deem, and I also would deem a masculine trait. And there's no problem, there's no issue with having, okay, to an extent, there's no issue with having masculine traits as a woman if you're trying to attract a masculine man, right? But you just need to know how to kind of use your masculinity, right? There's certain times to use it, and there's also certain times where if you try to use it, it's gonna seem threatening. It's gonna seem like you're trying to compete, which in reality, you should never be competing with a man. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You guys are not the same. Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. That's ridiculous. But yeah, going back to what I was saying though, right? Men pretty much for the most part know how to that's what I'm saying though. The men for the most part know how and know what attracts a woman, and you'll see, a fat dude's not gonna try to attract a woman because it's just no use. Is it wrong if I enjoy, bro? What? Going back to what I was saying, right? Going back to what I was saying, right? Man, that's crazy. That's wild. Okay, going back to what I was saying. When it comes to men knowing what women want, like I said, if you're an unattractive guy, you know that you're unattractive, right? Okay. You know that you're unattractive as a man, right? Maybe you're overweight, maybe you don't have your style in place, maybe you're not confident. There's certain things that men know that if they're not that, then they're going to be almost less than women essentially, which is kind of ridiculous in my opinion, but there's certain men that do feel that way. I know that for sure. And I know they know their insufficiencies, and I know they know how to go about their insufficiencies in a way that is going to. Well, I know that they know about their insufficiencies. Most of them actually don't act on them, and they just kind of settle for where they are. Um, but when it comes to women, majority of women think they think they're the shit. Like, and within society, we kind of do. Most men do act like they're the shit. Like, even if you're an average woman, you're going to have a super high opinion on yourself. Let's just say you're like a six let's just say you're a six, right? But you still get like maybe like 400, 500 likes, maybe even 1,000 likes on Instagram, right? You're a six as a woman. If you get that many likes and you see other people not getting that many likes, right? You're automatically gonna think you're like, oh, I'm an eight, or I'm a nine, and you're not an eight or a nine, but yet you have your head's blown up because you get so much social validation. Maybe it's through DMs as well, right? You see maybe even like I said, sixes still getting a lot of DMs. So they have, like I said, they have an overinflated sense of where their value is within the dating space, right? Of where they correctly place themselves. Okay, bro, you need to get up out of here, man. Ridiculous, man. Come on now. All right, give me 1 second, man. Ain't no way. Okay, give me 1 second. All right, we're going back to what I was saying. When you have an overinflated sense of value in the dating space, it really can just throw off just everyone else around you as well, right? And women at this point think that they have no. Yay, man! You need to get them. I need to get them up out of here, man. I need to get them up out of here. I'll do it in a second. But women for the most part don't know where they lack. And I feel like you kind of know where you lack. It mostly stems within how they look. But like I said, even that's kind of getting reverted back to, oh, I'm still an 8, I'm still a 9 because they get so much social validation. So where do their insufficiencies lie? Most women don't have a clue. Most women don't know if they're going to be able to attract a man or not. And more importantly, most women don't know if they're going to be able or if they're even capable of attracting a man for a relationship. It is easy for it is 100% easy for women to attract a man for sex than it is for a relationship. And I feel like women also get those things conflated as well. Oh yeah, I get so many DMs. I get so much attention. I'm the hottest shit ever. And at the end of the day, most men are just trying to fuck. They're not even trying to actually build a relationship with you. And just because you get so much social validation, you actually believe that you have so much relationship potential, when in reality you don't. That's another thing we need to take into account. So, with that being said, you really need to analyze the women in this aspect because, like I said, they act like their shit don't stink at the end of the day, right? They act like they're above certain type of men, and the way society's going that is exactly the case. Man, ain't no fucking way. Get them up out of here, man. Hold up, man. All right. All right, man. You get a timeout, man. Ain't no way, man. Get a timeout, man. Whoa, man. Hey, come on now, OG. Get him out of here, man. Ain't no fucking way. That boy's out of pocket, boy. He's out of pocket, baby. We gotta get him out of here. I appreciate the compliment, but you gotta get your ass out of here still. We got 4 people watching in here. I appreciate you guys for stopping by. Make sure you go ahead and leave a comment if you're in here right now. Except if you're that man. I go ahead and put him in a timeout because that boy's acting. Sustivities, boy. We straight over here, man. Hey, we don't swing that way out here, man. Come on now. All right, going back to what I was saying. Women kind of have an idea of what exactly attracts a man, which is the obvious, the physical looks, right? But when it comes to the other aspects that are outside of just the physical, most women don't even have an idea of specifically what attracts a man and what to avoid being like and what is ideal to a man because they never ask the question. They never do the research. A lot of men have to do the research, and there's plenty of resources available for that. But women don't give a fuck enough. They want a man, and they want a high quality man, but they also do not want to put the effort in to take their time and see what the hell a man of higher value actually is looking for. And they think that they're it when they're not it at the end of the day, just because of the simple fact that they just get so much attention that they think they are. So, like I said, they think they don't need to put in any effort, which, like I said, in my opinion, is ridiculous because they definitely need to. Another thing I want to get into is also my choice of dating right now. How do I view the dating marketplace? First of all, my current circumstance is going to be different than it's going to be within the next, let's just say, a few years, right? So you got to also take that into account, how that could also alter my perception. Okay, so for me personally, I'm in a position where I could talk to certain people. I could make the effort. I could go out and ask for girls' numbers and things of that sort, which I have done in the past. I just do not see. I don't see the fruit within it, and it's not because I've got let down. I've actually got more yeses than I've got nos, and with that being said, it's just it's not. I'm not exactly retaining the type of quality that is what I would deem to be worth my time, energy, money, energy. Yeah, energy. Like I said, that's the most valuable currency right there, besides time, right? So I could find somebody if I really, really, truly wanted to, but I just don't think there is any specific utility right now in getting that person, especially when I am trying to build. Well, first, I'm trying to build up this podcast. I'm trying to build up my body. I'm trying to build up many different areas of my life, and adding another focus Can it be done? Of course it can be done, but it would need to be done with a person who understands all of those things, which, like I said, is not impossible to find, who understands those things, who supports me in that way, and who's willing to be put second, essentially. Um, and I would say most women do not like to hear that. Hey, you're going to be second, right? There's things that I need to get done, and you're going to be on the back burner, and that is okay. But you will have my attention, you will have my protection, you will have whatever, right? Whenever that comes. But at the same time, I know what is first, and you need to go ahead and respect that. All right. And if you're a woman right now watching this, and you have a man that puts you first and doesn't put his mission in life first, he's gonna fall off. He's gonna fumble you, guaranteed, guaranteed. He's gonna fumble you. It's an essential when it comes to masculinity. If he doesn't have his mission first and what he needs to get done, his passions, if he let's just say he has it in the beginning, right, which attracts you in the first place. If he replaces that with you, he's gonna fumble you, 1,000%, 1,000%. All right, going back to what I was saying for me. Right now I'm not dating anyone. I'm not talking to anyone at all, not consistently, and not even of the opposite gender. I have a very select amount of people that I actually talk to on the daily. These are most of my boys, most people that I work out with, and things of that sort. Like I said, circle is smaller. I won't say smaller. It's like middle size, but it's all people that I genuinely fuck with, and they fuck with me. So they deserve my time and my attention and my focus. So I'm not talking to anyone right now because it's just not, in my opinion, the right time. It's not exactly the right time. Now, could I see myself talking to somebody, let's just say before the end of this year? Yeah, I do see it, but I'm also not going to be putting in any effort, you really, to try to talk to anyone in specific. I'm at a point where if you want to talk to me, you can talk to me. If you don't want to talk to me, that is completely fine. I'm completely fine with not talking to anybody. Because that energy is getting placed back on me, which ultimately is where it needs to go in the first place. So, and my mission. So, the energy is going to be there, but it's not going to be directed towards that. So yeah, that's what I would really say. And then yeah, I would just say that I have gotten my time wasted in in simple ways. And then this is not no like, oh my, I'll give you my story, my pity little story, right? But I have got my energy and time wasted, which most men in the dating marketplace today definitely have, whether they got their money wasted, time wasted, attention wasted. Maybe they're just giving it out for free, which is another thing that I'm coming to the conclusion of, where you cannot, and I mentioned this in a previous podcast, you cannot give your attention out for free, or super loosely, because the second you start giving it out is the second that it starts becoming less valuable. And the second it becomes less valuable is the second that you exactly have no fucking power in the interaction. It's just not, it's not a good trade off. Attention is earned for men and for women. Attention's earned. It's earned differently, but it's definitely earned for sure. And then yeah, like I said, I'm willing to put my energy into somebody if they like I said, if they have a lot of understanding precursors before, um, and I have some genuine desire to actually want to talk to me and not anyone else, because that's the thing, which is an interesting thing. So like the last like 2 or 3 girls that I talked to, I've not talked to any other girl besides them, and I feel like in the past when it comes to dating, I've talked to a few different people, and I feel like that situation right there actually worked out better. And I've talked to women who are like, oh, I don't want you talking to anyone else. Some of the time I chose to do that, and some of the times I'm just like, okay, like, well, you're not in control, I'm in control, so at the end of the day, I'm gonna do what I gotta do. Um, but it's worked out better for whatever reason when they know that I'm talking to other people. And I've learned about this one concept, and I don't know if I want to get into it too much, but it's called competition anxiety. Um, but if you don't know what that is, go ahead and look it up. But it's something that I've learned that, sadly, it's one of those dark triad traits that For whatever reason, women are attracted to it, which I don't understand it, but it is what it is. Um, Another thing I want to talk about is this is off topic, but I had my since I took a few days off last week for resting. I wasn't able to get up my shorts and my video that I've already finished for my second channel, which is Evolve to Inspire. If you're interested in subscribing to that channel, it's more of a self development channel. Um, it'll all be in the description. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in after. If you really do want it and want to go ahead and subscribe, I'll also send you the link if you are interested in it. Make sure you just go ahead and send me a text. That is my main project right there. But that I have it done. I'm just having some complications right now with my iMac within the storage and a bunch of other stuff. So I'm trying to go ahead and get that sorted out. I want to get it sorted out this week so I can go get the shorts up as well. Because for the most part, I had a really good run with the shorts. They did pretty decent. So the second time around is going to be a lot easier for me. So I just need to figure out what the hell to do with that situation. But if anyone is super familiar with Final Cut Pro, I know how to edit videos and stuff like that. But if anyone in here right now is in tune with Final Cut Pro, make sure you go ahead and text me just so I can try to figure some stuff out. I have a few questions that I'm trying to figure out at the current moment. But yeah, other than that, going back to the main topic of today, surrounding dating, the biggest misconception within dating right now is that women know what men want. I appreciate it, my dog. I appreciate that. Is that women know what men want, and there's a few women that specifically know what men want, but for the most part, most women do not know exactly what men want outside of sex and outside of a beautiful woman. When it comes to the other traits, and I've seen this plenty of times where men have asked women this question, and they're just like, and they don't know. I want to say more women have not known than the women that have actually known. I want to say it's maybe like a 4-to-1 ratio. Maybe one out of every 4 women that were asked that question were actually able to give a sufficient answer to what men want outside, like I said, outside of sex. And I feel like that kind of messes up because with women getting so much attention nowadays, which comes from the simps, which I talk about in the current state of dating, they have no reason to put any effort in because they have so many options. So they don't need to work for anything because they already think that they are attracted. They attract the men that are relationship material, when in reality, maybe they do, but at the same time, they're not relationship material themselves, so they're fucked because they don't know exactly what a man wants. Another analogy I like to use, which I've seen people use many, many times, which is something that I always found interesting, was never ask a fish how to catch a fish. You ask the fisherman how to catch a fish. So in this regard, women being the fish in this analogy, you have to ask other men how to go ahead and get a woman instead of asking a woman how to get a woman. And with taking, and this is also something I want to talk about, which is a little interesting. Give me 1 second. Most women or most men say do not take women's advice when it comes to dating, just because it is not exactly. They'll tell you kinda the man that they want, but they also have certain things that they kind of won't talk about, which are, in my opinion, a little bit more important. Like, for example, they won't talk about the charisma. They won't talk about like the confidence in what exactly it looks like, and they'll give you like, oh, I want a nice guy who pays for dinner, who will take me on a date and give me flowers and this and this and this. When in reality, they won't talk about what really attracts them. What really attracts them, and maybe some of this even is a toxic trait. Maybe it's something that, like I mentioned earlier, is a certain type of charisma about yourself that will get you attracted to women, right? Um, but like I said, that right there is why you would ask the fisherman in this regard. Um, and when it comes to the other way around, right? When it comes to women, you don't have to ask other women. You need to ask men. If you're a woman watching this, you must ask men what they want and get a collective of answers to make your own opinion. I have a question. Would girls' friends basically hype them up and give them higher standards and tell the girls what type of guy. Would girls' friends basically hype? I would say if I'm reading this correctly, I would say yes, and it's what I would deem to be a negative counter loop. That is a negative counter loop because it gives them a higher sense of self worth, which then leads to, oh, I don't need a man because I already have thousands of men in my DMs or hundreds of men or tens of men in my DMs. So why would I need to develop my character when I'm already attracting men? And when girls say, you know what, don't settle for that man. You can do better than him. You could do better than him. Of course, that adds into the negative counter loop, like I mentioned. So, but yeah, that's basically what that is right there. We have 3 people watching right now. Appreciate you guys for stopping by. Make sure you go ahead and leave a comment if you're in here right now, just so I can see who's in here. And then I'll go ahead and reiterate my own current dating situation and kind of my perception as well. But yeah, I want to see who's in here right now. KJ, always holding it down. Appreciate you for stopping by. I want to see who else is in here. All right. Also, just to reiterate, podcast for last week. I didn't get to do it on a Thursday. Was a little under the weather, and my body was just super tired. I needed a lot of rest, so that is what I got, thankfully. And I'm back now. I'm back, feeling very healthy, getting some good lifts in today and yesterday. So that was definitely ideal. But going back to my current dating situation, I could talk to people and spend my time and energy on people that probably wouldn't exactly treat me the exact way I want to be treated. I could accept it, and I could potentially divert my energy into many different ways, many different women, if I felt like it. Which I want another thing. That's another thing I want to talk about. Right? Is this misconception within men's dating right now? One of the biggest misconception is that talking to a lot of women is ideal. And it's something that sounds better on paper. And it's one of these concepts that I always talk about. It sounds better on paper than it does actually apply to real life. You would think, talking to a bunch of women, or first talking to a woman, oh, that's great, whatever. But talking to many women, oh, that's fantastic, blah, 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 blah. And men always have this perception of more is better. When in reality, which I've had multiple women at one point, it's not more is better. It's definitely not more is better, right? Does it have its perks? Yes. Is it ultimately the best decision you probably should make? No, because like I had mentioned earlier, you're diverting your energy in many different ways, less to go back onto you, and less to actually have a straight focus on what actually matters, which is at the end of the day you and taking care of what you need to take care of and focusing on your purpose, which you can kind of get distracted. You're more easily going to get distracted if you have your attention set on multiple women than if you just had it set on one woman specifically. And that is something that sadly I had to learn the hard way. Most men wouldn't say that's sad, but I had to learn that the hard way. But yeah, don't in my opinion don't divert your energy in many different women because it's just most women are not worth it. Most women are not worth your energy, let alone multiple women at one point in time. Probably not going to be worth your energy. So take that into account. And then yeah, right now I'm not talking to anyone. I'm not looking to talk to anyone in specific. And if somebody's talking to me, let's just say it changes within the next 6 months, it's probably going to be because they want to talk to me. As far as like, I'm not doing anything that's super much, pretty much just pushing for the interaction. I'm not pushing for it. Um, it more than likely will have to be initiated by a woman. Because like I said, I just don't see myself needing to divert my energy into that way because it's not, like I said, it's not serving me as of right now, so I really don't need to. Yeah, another thing I want to talk about is just getting your time and energy wasted. Don't do that. If you're a man watching this, the last thing you want is your time and energy wasted. And do not give out your attention so freely. Your attention is something that should be valued more. Attention is one of the currencies of today that really does mean something. So make sure you're not just giving it out for nothing, because your attention is definitely worth more than nothing, and the more you give it out, the less value it has. Simple as that, right? More money in circulation, the less valuable it becomes, sadly. And then you got gas like $7,000 right now just to fill up the tank. We got a few people watching right now. Appreciate you guys for stopping by. Make sure you go ahead and leave a comment if you're in here right now, just so I can see who's in here. Also, if you guys have any questions regarding dating, the way it is right now, maybe you have a question based off of the things that I talked about earlier. Yeah, make sure you go ahead and leave it in the comments. Like I said, we got about 3 or 4 viewers in here, so make sure you say it was good. All right. Yeah, give me 1 second. Yeah, we could talk. I want to talk about this other topic. I want to talk about this other topic as well. I haven't thought it out through it thoroughly enough, but I want to talk about it. It was one of the topics that I want to talk about on another podcast, but I want to go ahead and get into it. Appreciate it, Gio. Um, I want to ask the question: who has more privilege in 2022, men or women? If you're in here right now, I want you to go ahead and answer that. Who has more privilege or privileges in 2022, men or women? That is going to be what I'm getting into next. That is what we call a double-edged sword, fellas. That is a topic that if I had a woman on here, it might get heated. It might get heated, and if I ever do have a woman on here, I'll have to have that conversation, and it'll just be interesting. I would not want it for argument purposes. By the way, I just want it just so I can see how they think, and I want to go ahead and talk about it, right? So before you guys give your answers, I want to give you my opinion on this, right? Who has more privileges in 2022, men or women? One thing you need to mention is first of all, we're not going to have the same privileges, right? Um, they're going to be different, and who has more privilege? I would say it is women. I would say for sure it is women that have more privilege in 2022 than men. Um, like I said, there's certain privileges that men have that women could never have. Um, and some if I was a woman on here, my big one of my biggest arguments would probably have to stem from the physical aspect of being the protector instead of the protected, right? So obviously, guys have less of a physical vulnerability, so that's going to be a privilege that men have, right? Um, but another privilege, I wouldn't say that's pretty much all the privileges that men have. And this is something that I've heard many, many times. If you're a man, you're pretty much not shit. So you can say men have privileges, but outside of the physical advantages and vulnerabilities, or lack of rather, there's really no other privileges that men have. Like I said, if you are 18 years old right now and you're living the average life of 18-year-old, just graduated high school, maybe he's going to college, you are not shit. You're not worth shit in this. You're not worth shit in this world right now. If you don't have a strong social media presence, you're literally not worth shit. Men have to build themselves up, and that is just the way it is, right? Who has more privileges in 2022? It is going to be women, right? And a lot of it comes from the physical looks. The what is it? What was I gonna say? Having a pretty privilege is one of the most overpowered things within this realm that we call the world, right? If you're an attractive woman, you can have almost anything you want. You could be 17 years old or 18 years old, right? If you have the physical advantages that most women do not have, most people don't have, right? The world is your oyster. You can have everything you want. A lot has to do with these simps. I'll go ahead and I want you to get into that a little bit more. I kind of understand where you're kind of going with that, but exactly how does that tie into this? But going back to what I was saying, you're right. If you're let's just say you're an average woman, or maybe a little bit above average, or maybe you're even super attractive as a woman, right? All the cards are in your favor. Everything is in your favor. You can have so many privileges that men could never have just based off of the physical looks. One, for example, right? You have girls with the OFs. Come on now, the OFs of the world. that can get their bills paid for by just posting pictures of their feet, or something simple as taking just a normal picture of yourself, maybe in a bikini. It doesn't even need to be super explicit, right? Because yes, yes, to an extent, I would say that that mostly stems within like the attention, the entitlement, and they also kind of give their money away, which kind of, yeah, it ties into what I was saying. Yeah, you're right. I would say simps are responsible for some of those. Yeah, those are the one paying for the feet pics. Exactly, fucking lames, dude. I can't believe that shit at all. Like I said, average women. If you're okay, average women can get away. Even below average women can get away with selling their feet pics, and simps will buy this shit. Mind blowing. If you're a below average girl and you have a high social media following of at least 10,000 followers, right? You can make a bag by selling your feet. Oh my fucking god, bro. Down bad as it gets. The fact that that even exists is a disgusting privilege that men can never have. If a man just said, you know what, I want to make money by selling pictures of my feet, do you know how stupid he would look in society? He would look down bad, down terrible. No one would respect this man at all. No one would. And that's just the way it is, right? You can get mad at it, whatever it is. At the end of the day, it is one of those double standards. It's one of those privileges that women have that men could never have. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Exactly. And that's another thing. That's another thing I want to get into, right? Another privilege that women have, just like I said, just solely off of looks. If you're an above average woman, or above average in looks, I mean, and or let's just say a highly attractive woman, you can have conversations with high quality men that would take men years of dedication to their craft to even be able to be put in a room with a man of that quality. You can't even, if you're a woman, right? You have the luxury of being, like I said, being afforded those privileges that exist. Let's just say maybe you even get on a yacht. If you look good, if you look decent, if you look just decent, bro, you can get on a yacht. Go to Miami, get on a yacht, meet a millionaire, meet a person who makes a lot of money, way more money than you do, and all you have to do, you just work at McDonald's if you want, and it doesn't matter, right? And he'll gladly get played, essentially being the reason she got so, yeah, pretty much. You're exactly right, sadly. You're sadly right. Um, but outside of the physical privileges that women have, I feel like they're a little bit more coddled within society. Like I said, especially right now, if women have what I would deem to be bad behaviors, they can get away with it. They can realistically get away with it. You see women on TikTok all the time disrespecting men, dragging them through the mud, and there's no consequences, right? But you also see if a man did that, hey, you're banned. Hey, your TikTok is taken off, bro. Like it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing, right? And another privilege I would say that exists, which like I said is in favor of the women when it comes to the physical aspect of it, right? Um, a woman can slap a man on social media and it go viral. Oh, cool. You know, it's funny. Whatever. A man does that, hey, you're going to jail, big dog. You're going to jail. A woman can do it, no consequences at all. You might even be able to make a bag off of it. No repercussions. None. But if a man does it, whoa, what are you doing? What are you doing, big dog? What are you doing? Canceled right there. So, like I said, it's just privileges, it's certain privileges, right? I'm trying to think what else. Another privilege that women have. I feel like another privilege that women have is they can go their entire lives and not needing to develop themselves. And this is something that we were talking about earlier. They have the privilege of not needing, if you look above average, not needing to really develop themselves in any type of way, and they can still get some luxuries that it would take for a well developed man, or let's just say a underdeveloped woman who develops herself would need to put in the time and effort, and they'll be able to reap the same result with that time being put in. So um, that right there, you don't even need to be smart as a woman nowadays. You don't. You can make a whole, you can have a damn career and not even be smart. Not even have an IQ of 100. You can be you can have thousands of dollars sent to you, And that's another thing. I want to do this disclaimer because every single time I talk about this, I want to make sure I'm putting out the right message, right? If you're a man right now paying for OnlyFans or any of these cash apps, whatever it is, giving women out for nothing, right? You are giving away your hard-earned money to women who sit on their ass and collect money from other men besides you. If you're a man right now watching this, never give out your money for free. It's ridiculous. If a woman is not giving you exactly what you expect out of the interaction, no matter how she looks, do not give it out. Simps, exactly. We're fucking ridiculous, dude. The fact that I even need to say that shit is so sad in this life, right? Do not give out your money for free. The fact that I need to say that shit is mind blowing. It's so damn sad, but it needs to be said. So of course, I'm here saying it. Um, you know what? And here's the thing: if we could just get rid of those simps like that, right? Society would be so much better because then women wouldn't act those ways. Therefore, they'd be able to act better. Therefore, they'd probably be more inclined to see what a man wants. It's a trick, man. It's a fucking trick for damn sure. For damn sure. But yeah, like I said, there's pretty much not really another privilege that men have outside of the physical. I'm trying to think of another one. One thing I will say maybe that's outside of the physical for men. I feel like they get treated better within customer service. If that makes any sense through my personal lens. Well, it also depends how you look as well. But I used to work a customer service in a few different places, and if there's one thing I will say is I've seen how the public treats women versus how the public treats a man. Let's just say me, for example, right? Versus maybe one of my fellow woman coworkers who's doing the same exact job, right? Who got more slander? Who got more back talk? Who got more negative energy outside of the person they're dealing with? Was definitely the woman. There are certain situations that I remember when I used to work at customer service that a woman would describe to me, "Hey, this happened to me," and I'm like, "That shit would never happen to me. That would never happen to me." And I'm not saying that because I'm not saying that because I'm fucking better than her or anything like that. I'm saying that because shit wouldn't happen to me. The shit just through my experience, I worked there for a pretty decent long time. That those situations would be very very far and few between, and they seem to be within a pretty decent frequency for women, sadly. But that's another thing that I would say. I feel like men get more respect than women, um, which is that's super sad to say, but that's something that I see. Um, but also, like I said, that is just one of those double standards that exists within this world. There's nothing I can do about it. It just happens. It just happens to be a thing, right? The question right now that I'm talking about, we got 4 people in here right now. Appreciate you guys for stopping by. Make sure you go ahead and leave a comment if you're in here right now. The question that I have asked the audience is: in 2022, who has more privileges, men or women? I want you to go ahead and give your answer. So, like I said, we have 4 people in here. I want you to go ahead and give your answer. In 2022, who has more privileges, men or women? Make sure you go ahead and leave it down. And then I'm also going to reiterate the things I was talking about earlier in the podcast. So I'll get into that after that. I want to know your guys' opinion on this. But besides that, I'm trying to think. I don't know if I can come up with any on the top of my dome when it comes to the privileges that men or women have. If you see another privilege in society that men or women have that I didn't mention, make sure you go ahead and leave a comment on that as well. Yeah, I want to see you guys' opinions because we got Gio's opinion here. He said women for the who has more privileges, men or women. I want to know what you guys have to say. My answer personally was women. Um, they can get away with a lot less than men. Exactly. That also exists right there. The pretty privilege. The if you look good, people are gonna treat you. They're gonna treat you better. It does not. It definitely does not hurt to look. Even if you're a man, right? To look good. If you're a 7, 8 out of 10, or eight. Yeah, if you're 7 or 8 out of 10, right, and you're a man, like you're going to have people look at you a certain way that if you're a fucking 3, no one's ever going to look at you that way or treat you that way. And people, and this is fucked up, right? But here's the thing: this is reality, right? The more good looking you are, the better people are going to treat you. You're more pleasant to look at, so therefore people are going to treat you with more respect. That is a harsh reality of life, and this channel is about harsh realities of life. Part of it, right? This is Life of Champ podcast, right? This is the harsh realities. That is one of them right there. You can have privileges based off of the way you look. Welcome to life, fellas. Here's the thing. What can I say? He said, "Hey, man, hey, man, it is what it is, man. It is what it is, man." Oh, we can talk about another privilege, but I don't want to get into race. I don't want to get into race. You already know. And here's the thing: if you heard me out, you already know what privilege I'm talking about that exists, that people do not, that exists, that it definitely exists. So, I don't even gotta say. I don't even gotta say it. Come on now. I'm trying to think. What's another privilege that men have? I feel like most of the things men have to work for. Genuinely, genuinely, most men have to work for that. Even the pretty privilege, right? Men can somehow make that better for themselves if you work on yourself at the gym. You're going to be afforded more privileges based off of that because you look a certain way. But like I said, for the most part, I would say most of men's privileges, some of them are given, a lot of them are definitely earned, and then they can have that privilege of acting a certain way or thinking a certain way or being perceived a certain way. Um, but most of it, I would say, is hard work. Outside of like the physical aspect of it, just having the less of a physical vulnerability. Um, that right there is probably going to be most of women's arguments when it comes to who has more privileges. They're probably going to say men because they're going to be like, and I've seen women say this. They're like, when it comes to going out at night, I feel unsafe, and if you're a man, you're probably going to feel more safe, which is true. You're more likely going to feel more safe if you're a man and you're going out in the night than if you're a woman. But that also comes down to confidence. That also comes down to like I said, the being physically strong or physically big, and yeah, simple as that. Also, women sadly are more of a target at night than men are, in my opinion. Even though most people that are men are more likely to be in a physical altercation than a woman and a man. That's something we also got to take into account as well. But yeah. Yeah, we're just about to be we're a little under an hour right now, so I appreciate you guys for stopping by. If you're in here right now, make sure you say it was good before I ended it off. I just want to reiterate all the things that I mentioned, and then I'll go ahead and leave you guys off on a positive note, right? So, going back to the dating scenario, one of the biggest misconceptions, one of the biggest things that I see a problem with within dating is that women do not know what men want exactly outside of the physical looks. That's going to be detrimental to society because if you don't know what men want, then you're going to think that they want you, when in reality, they probably just want the physical aspect, which is kind of what most women know men want, anyways. But some women might be convinced that they want a relationship, or a man wants a relationship, when in reality they don't. So most of the women's attentions come from just the physical. It does not come from anything else besides physical, for the most part, sadly. But yeah, that's going to be one of the biggest misconceptions. Do men know what women want? I would say they definitely have a way better idea than what women know what men want. So, um, kind of goes back to my analogy that I made earlier. If you want to catch a fish, you got to talk to the fisherman instead of the fish. So, got to talk to men. Men are for the most part going to have um a more in tune opinion on exactly what women are attracted to. If the man knows what he's talking about, he's gonna have more of a in tune perspective. And then, well, my choice in dating right now, me personally, I've decided to not talk to anyone unless somebody wants to talk to me. There's just no point in diverting my energy into many different endeavors in life if they have no real solid guaranteed benefit right now. All the endeavors that I'm diverting my energy into are going to have results that I can reap in a short period of time because I'm working for it. So whether that's the physical, whether that's working on my mental, whether it's working financially, whether it's working spiritually, whatever it is, I'm going to have more of a um, upside to diverting my energy within that than I would just diverting my energy into, let's just say, a woman, or let's just say multiple women. And of course, there is going to be a woman that is going to be worth diverting the energy towards. But at this current moment, I don't have that woman, so therefore, I'm diverting it back into me. Another thing with dating in my circumstance right now, which I didn't mention earlier, is going to be dating apps. If you're a man on a dating app and if you thrive, you know what, you thrive. Cool. Most men don't. If you're on a dating app, my suggestion for most men is don't get on a dating app. It's not a game meant for you to win unless you're like a top 5% men. Then go on dating apps if you want to go ahead and knock yourself out. But at the end of the day, you really don't even need a dating app to attract women. But um, that's just my opinion on dating apps. I just want to mention that real quick. And then yeah, like I said, don't waste your time, don't waste your attention, don't waste your energy on anyone. Period. And then, yeah, so that's pretty much what I talked about on the podcast today, as along with the privileges, who has more privileges, men or women, in 2022. My final analysis is going to be women do. I have more examples for specifically how a woman has more privileges than if a man does have more privileges. I have less examples for men. I definitely want to talk about that topic when I do have a woman on or even another dude on, just so I can get a different perspective in this. But other than that, I'm gonna go ahead and end it off here in a few minutes. We got 4 people in here right now. I appreciate you guys for stopping by. Make sure you go ahead and leave a comment if you're in here, just so I can see who's in here. And I'm gonna go ahead and leave you guys off on one more piece of game. Um, yeah, I want to. This will be the piece of game right here. So yeah, give me 1 second, and I'll go ahead and talk about it. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and end it off right now in a second. But like I said, I just want to see what you guys have to say. Do you guys have any final thoughts concluding the podcast for today? All right. Well, while you guys are typing that, I'm going to go ahead and give you my last piece of game, right? It is, if you want it, you will find a way. And if you don't want it bad enough, you will find an excuse. That is the game for today. I'm going to repeat that one more time for you guys. If you want it, you will find a way to get it. And if you don't want it or don't want it bad enough, you will find an excuse. What it comes down to is this in life. If you want it bad enough, you're going to find a way. You're going to go through the trials and tribulations. You're going to go through the rough patches. You're going to go through the difficulties. You're going to have the good times, the bad times. But at the end of the day, if you want it, you will find a way. And if you don't want it bad enough, the only thing that you will find is a bunch of excuses to try to justify your point of view in life. That's what it comes down to. So right now, with your current situation in life, are you trying to find a way, or are you making excuses? Because if you really wanted it bad enough, you would get it. That's how I'm going to go ahead and end it off. I hope you guys had a great rest of your day. I hope you enjoyed the podcast for today. This was episode number 37 of the Life of a Champ podcast, just talking about dating real quick. But other than that, I hope you guys have a good rest of your nights. And until next time, I'll be doing a podcast this Thursday. Topic is still to be determined, but I should have somebody on. So stay tuned in for that. Also, I will figure out the situation with my iMac regarding the TikToks. So also look forward to that as well. But other than that, you guys have a good rest of your night. And like I said, stay tuned for the podcast on Thursday.